Excelentísimo doctor Igor Achurbeli, jefe de la Nación.
Welcome to all of you on my behalf as well. We are part of history. We have culture, we have society, we have the government. As minister, I have had the honor to lay the first stones in the foundation of our organization and show how the public sector works in the first space nation. My northern star is the country where everyone can live together regardless of the language they speak, regardless of their background. A nation for everyone. Asgardia is the basis of the future space civilization. Based on this, there will be future societies who will bring life to space. This is a masterpiece which is as strong as stone. As head of government, it is my task to present a report of our activities to show how we have grown and what we have done. The report will summarize the information concerning how we have grown and how the government of Asgardia has acted during this year. Asgardia, like everyone, has its strengths and weaknesses. There are many aspects which make us culturally diverse. We have also linguistic diversity, geographical diversity, and we have been able to overcome several communication obstacles to become a united nation, a unified nation. When I started as minister, we had 3,576 proposals concerning work of different ministers. In April, after a difficult election procedure, we selected candidates who were constitutionally suitable, and during the first Congress, we had the debate on this. And I, as Prime Minister, was tasked with setting up the government of Asgardia. The Congress was established by our head of nation with the purpose to bring together people from the parliament, the ministers. There was a third digital session of the parliament taking place in Vienna from the 15th to the 18th of April. And we accredited and appointed 12 ministers of Asgardia there. Minister of Science, Culture, Finance, Citizenship, Youth and Education, Resources, Communication, Security, Justice and Manufacturing. The Congress provided us an opportunity to make joint proposals and work together with chairs of committees. We discussed different plans in different areas of activity. The next step was to establish rules on how our work should continue. We approved Directive number 2 in order to be able to carry out meetings of the cabinet and comply with different procedures. One of the biggest achievements was, with the help of the Minister of Culture and members of Parliament, to establish the first contact in cooperation with the Mexican Space Agency, which has also relation to the Mexican government. This relates to our strive for recognition as the nation of Asgardia. On the 16th of May, cooperation between the Minister of Culture and the Mexican government started. They help each other, they cooperate in different projects. The Cabinet of Ministers also started meeting regularly. Our country was represented by Marcos Grombas. The event took place in Las Vegas in the United States from the 4th to the 6th of July. This was the biggest brand event in the world, and it helped to promote our brand and to promote our future trade relations. We want to be internationally visible. We want to be recognized. To that end, the first cooperation agreement was concluded with an Italian authority in July. Asgardia Space Nation was the name given to it. Different ministries also laid down their priorities, and all this together formed the plan for the Asgardian government. We have constantly assessed our activities based on the steps taken in different fields, based on the developments. The priorities for each ministry were laid down from July to December 2019. In order to deal with projects of utmost priority which help to promote our nation to reach our goals, we took the following steps. For example, the Minister of Finance created the National Bank Act, the bill for that act, and a plan to find new citizens, quarterly payments to members of parliament, information about the budget and the financial situation, Ministry of Justice, a decision on civil rights and court rulings, decision-making procedure, setting up the expert committee. The laws had to be created within a few months, and the budget also had to be determined. The Ministry of Science, the first Congress with participation by many incredibly good experts. They established an Academy of Science and Research. The Ministry of Youth and Education. They started projects to increase the number of Asgardians, to promote education for Asgardians and civic participation. Ministry of Citizenship. They set up the register of citizens, an action plan for issuing ID cards, and also establishing 26 representative agencies.
Los temas las prioridades eran seguridad cibernética, seguridad del tesoro global, evaluación de riesgos y amenazas, responsabilidad de la infraestructura de tecnología de información.
The information, the generation of accumulation of money, and this is for the economic growth. In terms of the information and communication, that was the positioning of ministers and public and the capitalization. They've been promoting Asgardia in the mass media over the Asgardian platform to make the Asgardian platform more attractive socially. There was a culture and diplomacy forum in terms of the manufacturing sphere. There was a development of, they were looking for members to collaborate with.
De sistemas de comunicación óptica entre satélites en órbita. Para llevar a cabo las prioridades preestablecidas, se dispusieron 4 categorías.
4 different categories were established by Igor Chikin in the Ministry of Manufacture. Different subcommittees in different ministries were established to carry out different interministerial projects. Once 3 priority projects had been carried out, then we also saw to it that the projects are properly carried out. We assessed activities in different fields, and the reports were submitted to the head of nation on the 2nd of August. During that time, I also received a report with a legal analysis. That same report was also submitted to the head of nation. The Congress on Investment and Science was one of the priorities. The ministers responsible for that field worked together in order to prepare the conference. Other ministers also made relevant proposals, and we can assure you that this priority task was carried out excellently. Floris Witt, Minister of Science, also presented us the progress made in the field of space. The list of candidates for national awards was also presented at the conference in October. On the 29th of September, we participated in a cooperation project with another minister to speak about different cultural aspects, for example, participation of Asgardia in the establishment of the digital library, and also adding important works of Dante Alighieri there, art projects, and cooperation of the ministry with NASA and the Italian Astrophysical Institute.
There was also talk about the priorities of the Ministry of Culture under various activities that we carried out in Mexico and in Italy. There are also things that we'd like to do in 2020, according to the Gregorian calendar. There's something else that we did. We set down the rules of procedure for the government. There were some aims that had been sort of sided a bit. For that, it's extremely important that we've got the rules of procedure and that we've also got great public relations. For that, we have kept a constant eye on how ministers cooperate with their respective committees. Article 32(7) is one of those. Colleague Diaz, Minister of Education, suggested an academy, Asgardian Academy, in order to give professional training to Asgardians and in order to create more citizens through that, and revenue as well. In conclusion, I can say that our nation has grown. We created the government, we appointed the 12 ministers, we've got the executive arm. We've also laid down the rules of procedure. Our ministers have got their job descriptions. We've got all the plans. We've also communicated with the parliament both physically and digitally. Our head of nation and the prime minister have weekly meetings. We've had cooperation with the Italian Space Agency and with a Mexican authority, and we've also concluded an agreement in the name of our nation. Our communication and media, well, there are very specific things that we've done. We can see from the activities that thanks to the dream of one man, Igor's dream, we are now part of the history of mankind. The historic memory of a nation, well, that's related to how we perceive the development of people. Historic memory is created with significant events that develop a nation. These make up history. History is related to historic events. There is also something to do with the subconscious. It shows how people are related to their roots and to the country where they come from. Each and every citizen writes the history of his or her own country and also the memory of his or her community. We are the pioneers that open the road to space through Asgardia, and we are therefore responsible for the events that form our history. It's for us to make memorable history. It's in our hands. It's important for what we see, how we protect the mankind. We have to create a wonderful fabric of memories which would connect us to the nation and which would also create the feeling of belonging. This is my suggestion. This is also the suggestion of my government. This is how we would like to move on from the second sitting. Let us write history. And I would now like to give you the first historic memory of our government. We are all one, we are all Asgardia.
Heavy enough.